Have you never noticed them before?
So we're live. Hello, Facebook. We've gone live just as we're talking about the indents in Emily's head, and
now it's just going to annoy people, because it is really beginning to annoy me. I don't understand why they're there. They don't exist in real life.
So we're using a new bit of software. It's new to us anyway, something called Streamyard. So we're hoping it's going to be an improved live experience for anyone watching Live Lunch today. So yeah, let us know what you think. It means there's lots of buttons and I don't quite know what to do with them. So there's going to be a bit of trying and testing in today's Live Lunch. But it's quite a cool tool. So if you are looking at going live on Facebook or going live on LinkedIn, Streamyard will allow you to go live in both places at the same time. It gives you a recording in the same way that Zoom records as well. And you can do really loads of cool stuff. So if you want to have a closer look at the dents in Emily's head, I can make a full screen touch of a button.
Please don't do that. I'm just going to go if you do that again.
But there's loads of cool features in here, so like branding features. Obviously you can see our name, everyone's got their name there, and it's you can select you put your hex code in so it's the right green. You can put we can put the logo up in the corner. There's loads of things you can do within it. But one of the great things, and I'm sure we'll have a couple of comments along the way, but you can actually bring comments on screen as well. So whether those comments are coming from Facebook or from LinkedIn, the only thing it doesn't, we can go live on YouTube as well using this, all at the same time. The only platform it doesn't cover is Instagram, unfortunately. But yeah, like I said, we'll give it a go and we see how we get on today. It's good to try some new stuff, right?
Apart from the fact that it's not the mirror image, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
I don't understand where I'm pointing.
Yeah, so normally when you're recording something, you get a mirror image, but what we're looking at is essentially the right way round, but it feels wrong. It's like an anti-mirror, which is a bit bizarre. So yeah, we've had some frivolity warming up for this today. We've had people touching their faces and going, no, but it's not that one, it's that one. And someone has decided they don't like their face anymore, they like their other face. And that was a direct quote.
It's true. I'm not used to this face. I don't really like it as much.
Oh dear. Cool. Right. Okay. So here we go then. So there's it's the alternate week of Live Lunch. There's no guests. It's just us, and we're going to have a bit of a chit chat over the sort of the social media updates that you guys have noticed over the last couple of weeks, and what you think's prominent, what you think's worth talking about. We'll have a bit of a chit chat around that. So who's going to go first?
I'll go first. I'll be confident this week. Instagram. So when I was off, I believe, Christina, you said there was an announcement about within Instagram now you can pin, I think, up to 3 posts in your comments. So under a post where people have commented, I think you're allowed to pin up to 3. I missed that announcement because I was off sick. And it came up on my Instagram account yesterday, I think. So I screenshot it straight away thinking, oh, this is brilliant. This is what I'm going to talk about in Live Lunch. And I went to Christina just before this. So this is what I'm going to talk about. And she said, yeah, that was announced last week. So I was really excited. But anyway, it's fine. So the way that you pin post, I did just try it. It's quite easy. So you just swipe left on the comment.
Just to be clear, it's the comments you're pinning under a post, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, the comments. So if there is a comment that you would like to pin, you can just swipe left on that comment as you would to say delete a comment or something like that. And then very similar to how you pin comments or posts on Facebook and things, there's a pin button and you just select pin. And then once it is pinned, it does say that it's pinned, although I don't know. See, when in my account, I could see that it said that it was pinned, but I don't know if you can see that actually, looking from an outside perspective. So if I, Christina, were to look at your profile and under a post you had a pinned comment, I don't know if I would know that was pinned. I'm not sure. Anyway,
yeah,
you would. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I pinned it, and then Christina said to me that Gary V, I believe, on Instagram has been using it as an engagement tool. So he's been saying under his videos, basically the best comment he's going to pin. And obviously a lot of people are wanting to be the pinned comment. So it's a good way to get that engagement and to get more people to comment, basically. I know I would want to be pinned, but I don't know what I would say. So yes, I thought that was quite cool. And I think it's something that's quite, I mean, I don't know how it's going to work, but I think so far, like I said, it's quite a good way to get people to engage in your posts, on your posts, on Instagram. So I quite like the idea. I think it's quite fun. And I like the fact that you can pin a comment, so you can pin the best one that makes you look the best.
Yeah, I think if people are like running competitions and things like that on Instagram as well, it's a nice way of sort of getting that community involvement, getting a bit of user-generated content as well. But actually, it's kind of, you know, what you're winning is that, you know, opportunity to be prominent. Or if you've got if part of the competition is that you have to comment when you're then being announced as a winner, actually to pin that winning, you know, those winning commentators, if you like. It's I think it's going to be quite useful. It'll be interesting to see how many people actually sort of, you know, is there a way to monetize that as well? And also, I can imagine if you're pinning your own comment and there's, let's say within that image that you've posted on Instagram, or if it's a video or whatever, actually pinning a comment that's got the call to action within there. So obviously we can't use clickable links and things like that in Instagram other than in the bio. So yeah, it just makes me wonder if there's, you know, putting like a bit.ly link that is like a personalized bit.ly link that's easy for someone to remember and then type into their browser. I think it would be some good uses for that feature from a marketing perspective.
I think something that I found quite interesting, I originally thought that you would only be able to pin one comment, but in my little notification thing that popped up, it did say, as I said, that you can pin up to 3. So like you said, you could pin something like that, which is a easy to remember short URL. And then you could pick sort of 2 comments under that to pin as well. So I do think it's a good idea. I like the idea. And I think, like you said, it's a good way. It's a good tool for marketing, and it's a good way to get people to engage with your posts. So yeah, I think it's cool.
Excellent. Has anyone else seen anything sort of Instagram wise? Have there been any new? I haven't noticed any new filters or anything like that for a little while on stories.
No, not that I've noticed.
There's been some articles in the last couple of weeks as well that are saying if you post on Instagram using a carousel, you seem to be getting more reach on those types of posts rather than single images. So that's something to think about too. But I think from a design perspective, to make it work, you almost need to, it's like image 1 is almost a question and image 2 is, you know, the answer to the question, and image 3 is a sign off. So it kind of
what I've seen actually that was really clever was someone had a sort of a landscape image, and they'd somehow, I don't know, Mark, probably quite easy to do, to be fair, but they'd cut it in half. So when you swiped, you could see the entire image. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, and it blended in perfectly. So it looked like they just uploaded that. But I just thought it was really clever how they done it. I thought it was quite a good idea. Thinking about it probably would be quite easy. Sorry, Jane?
I have an app that does it. You can add up to 4, I think, and then it just seamlessly puts them together and then uploads them for you.
What's the app called?
Yeah.
Now you're asking. My phone.
Sorry.
You know, one of the presentations we do regularly is about like top tips and tools and apps, and I sort of say we use about 150, 200 apps like between us, like every day within the business. And it's like, yeah, you know, I've got an app for that, but what's it called? God knows. You know, and you just think, right, which device is it on? And, you know, is it an app or is it a website? Or there's so many tools that we're using all the time.
I can't even see it on my phone. I will look for it, and if I find it, I'll put it in the comments.
We've got a question from the audience, if that would help.
Cool.
So you can, hey, look at that.
Okay.
Cuts you off though, Amanda.
I feel like
It used to be on the wall that people would graffiti years and years ago.
Chad.
No, Chad.
I'm
Chad.
Chad.
Chad. Anyway, question.
Okay, so there's a send option that allows a post to be sent via Messenger on LinkedIn. So you can do this on in your app as well. It's not just on desktop. I use this all of the time. I'm going to take this off because it's really funny watching Amanda stretch her neck like that. Okay, so
Encouraging me to sit up straight. It's not a bad thing.
So one of the things that I talk about quite a lot in terms of sort of marketing and actually doing the marketing bit, and marketing and sales should be going like that. You've got your marketing funnel, and what happens is at the bottom of that marketing funnel, you're just now in your sales funnel, right? And there's the two they actually cross over a little bit. And I think this feature, being able to send a post to someone via Messenger, is really, really handy. So let's say Paul is he's a prospect of mine, and I'm looking for ways to engage with him without being salesy. And then all of a sudden I see a post on LinkedIn that I think he might be interested in. That's a really good conversation opener to be able to send that post to him and draw his attention to it. And it's kind of like saw this and thought of you. So I've done that with a couple of people from a kind of sales perspective. The other thing I've done is I've shared, in fact, I nearly did it this morning, and then I actually decided it was something I needed to do myself. So I use it as a bit of a delegation tool sometimes. So there was a post from staffing industry analysts that shared some information that we need to incorporate in terms of the work we're doing with recruiters, and like just a really useful stat that was there. So I went to share that with Amanda. So it's a really good way of sharing information in that way. Now, admittedly, when I was sharing it with Amanda, I was telling her to do something, and I thought, actually, no, she's I probably should do at least one thing myself this week.
She's not a happy bunny this week either, so she might have something to say.
But yeah, like I said, that knowledge share, I think, is really, really important. The other thing as well, from a networking perspective, is that if you see something, and was it early this week or end of last week? I'm not sure now. I saw someone posting and they needed a particular service. I've got a contact that sends me referrals. I actually sent that, using that share option, I sent that message to that contact to basically say, like, here's an opportunity here for you. So, it's being able to share things that way. And, the opportunity was someone that was in my network. I don't know if they were connected or not to them. So, there's a good chance they wouldn't have seen that post themselves. So, like I say, it's doing that sort of knowledge share, knowledge transfer as well. I think it's quite a handy tool. If any of you guys used it, I can't imagine, maybe you.
No,
I haven't. One thing I have used on LinkedIn this week, which you steered me towards, is sending voice notes.
I have.
Amazing.
I'm like the queen of voice noting.
You love a voice note. Yes, we were debating that yesterday because Emily was trying to hunt you down, and I said, send her a voice note.
I said, do you have any idea where Christina is? And Amanda went, send her a voice note. She keeps sending them to me. So I was like, okay.
You can do it on WhatsApp, and apparently this is becoming the thing now that the younger gen are doing. But on LinkedIn as well, it's great because if you just want to check in with somebody, or if you're talking about sharing a post with them, you could potentially follow it up with a rather than typing, with a kind of, hey Christina, I saw this, I thought it would look right up your street, I thought maybe you'd want to comment or follow up on it. but yeah, it worked really well. So because the person I sent it to was so a prospect for us, somebody we're talking to about engaging with their marketing content. So sent that to him to kind of check in with the proposal, but also say, hey, have you seen this? This is really cool. And he hadn't. So yeah.
And I would say 99 out of 100 people that I send those voice notes to, whether it's on WhatsApp or LinkedIn Messenger, they respond with a voice note, and they respond with a voice note in a way that is so last Friday, I kind of spent 30 minutes just sending out voice note after voice note after voice note to various people I haven't talked to for a while. And one of those people came back with a voice note, and they were like, okay, so this is weird. Yeah, I'm fine. And you could just like hear the kind of like, why am I doing this to myself kind of tone in their voice. And I went back again, just, I was laughing like I do, and cackling, and went back. So you sounded so uncomfortable. Voice notes are the way to go. Honest, just like, keep doing it. And they came back again, and and they were giggling, and it's a SMS type conversation, but you're hearing someone's voice. You're hearing all those extra bits of the conversation. Any sort of, those bits that miss, when you write a message in a certain way, and the nuances get changed because you haven't got any tone or emotion or anything behind it. A voice note puts all of that back in. So people are quite responsive. And the reason I say 99 out of 100 is because I've literally had one person message me back note who basically I think they thought it was, they might get a virus if they click on it.
Okay.
They're a bit suspicious of it. So their response was sort of made me smile, really. But yeah, 99 out of 100 people, I'm pretty sure, are going to come back with a voice note, and it just ends up in this kind of real back and forth, and it's so quick.
Yeah. Yeah, so the open rate would be huge. I mean, you can't obviously automate it. Well, yet there possibly is a tool somewhere, but yeah, I reckon as a marketing tool, it's fantastic.
And voice is the future. As much as I hate Alexa.
I was about to say that, Christina, when you said voice is the future. I was like, your best friend.
I don't talk to, I don't talk to that box on that machine on the side. But the reality is voice is the way forward. That's where there's a big push on podcasts at the minute. That's why we're seeing like so much happening with audio. Like everything's audio. If someone's writing a book now, they're already planning doing the audio version as well. So that, and we just have to embrace it. We know that.
I think sorry, Christina, I was going to say, I think with stuff like that, it is about sort of building up your confidence and getting used to it. I know for me, first of all, I hated being on video. I still don't really enjoy it, but the fact that we do this every week, I'm kind of used to it now, and I forget half the time, so I need to be careful what I'm saying. But the other thing is with voice notes, it was exactly the same thing. So I thought, I had this story that I really wanted to tell a couple of my friends, like, when was it, about a month ago now? And I was like, oh, see, this is going to take me forever to write out. It was basically a book. So I was like, I need to tell it. And it ended up being about a 10-minute voice note. But actually, after I'd done it, I was kind of okay. Like I listened to it back, which is that vain? Maybe it's a bit. But I wanted to hear what I sounded like. So I listened to it and I was like, oh, okay, my voice is okay. I'm kind of getting more used to it now. It's fine. So now I literally use it all the time. I don't know if I'd have the confidence though yet to do what you did, Amanda, on LinkedIn. I don't know if I would do that, but maybe I would.
So on WhatsApp, so obviously you press and hold and you speak, and when you let go, it automatically sends.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn, it's a similar thing, but when you let go, you choose to send it. So
okay.
You can't hear it back.
Right.
But if
you'll know if you went
wrong. Said the wrong thing and,
and
it's kind of, you need to sort of just start again.
Yeah.
You actually hit send rather than it just being sent.
Okay. On WhatsApp as well. So if you are leaving a voice note, but you do make a mistake, you can swipe it as you're talking and it deletes.
Yes, yeah. You finish.
Okay. Yeah, which is what I found, because otherwise that was the thing that really scared me, was the fact that I know I was only sending it to my friends, but I thought if I did say something stupid, I don't know, I always say silly things, but anyway, but if I did say something and I wanted to delete it, I was worried that I wouldn't be able to delete it, but you can, because you can swipe. So I ended up deleting the first one, I think. But you have to delete it before you let go, don't you? That's what you mean. So when you let go, it does send. But if you keep your finger on it the whole time and then decide you want to start again, you can swipe it before you let go and it doesn't send. But yeah, like you said, I think it's I think they're definitely getting more popular. But I think certain people just have to build up their confidence with it.
I think we can just use them instead of Slack from now on.
Okay.
I was looking for an integration with Slack so that I could voice note in Slack. We tested it, didn't we, Amanda? It worked really well.
Thankfully, it didn't work very well. Otherwise, we'd be getting hundreds of them.
You love it. You guys always say, like, where is she? Where's she gone? Christina, I've sent you a message. You haven't responded yet. Voice notes, I can respond in milliseconds. It takes me no time whatsoever to just vote no. Cool. Okay, so Jen, I was going to move on, but just before I do, the other thing, so there's a couple of clients I've talked to for a while where we're using video in the message as well, but we use loom.com so that the messages are like, we can see the tracking when someone actually watches that video. So obviously Paul's on here, and I've spoken at a couple of his networking events where I've talked about it over the last few months. And anyone that's a recruiter, if they've seen Amanda or I presenting, they've probably heard us talk about Loom. But it's really, really good, free to use. You can have up to 100 videos in there. And essentially when you record using your desktop camera, and you then get a link for the video. When you send that, people have to click on the link to watch it, and essentially you get a notification when that video is watched. So it's really, really useful. Obviously, if you're kind of, you're trying to get in touch with a lot of people all at once, it might be a bit unwieldy, but I don't know, I think 100 videos is enough to do quite a chunk of work in terms of kind of getting from that bottom of the marketing funnel into your sales funnel as well.
I've been using it quite a bit as a how-to type tool. So if I've got people going, how do I do this? I'm not sure. So one yesterday was, how do I add extra people onto MailChimp? So we're doing some email marketing for this client. So we're kind of managing the send and the content, but essentially it's their account. So I just did a quick video. So it's kind of me saying hello, but then a show around of the screen. And it works brilliantly for that. And it's really good for kind of building that interaction as well. It's kind of, and quicker. Because if I tried to type an email going, click this button, click that button, it would have taken ages. Whereas quick video, easy.
Yeah, I mean, I use it all the time for website stuff. So if someone's, wants a little reminder how to do something on the back end of their website, it's easier just to spend 2 minutes recording a video, and then they've got it as reference moving forward as well. And obviously Emily did an SEO one that we reutilise as well for Yoast as well, which she loves.
Took me about 2 hours. I filmed the whole thing. It was, I think, about 35 minutes. And then I realised, obviously, the video, you could see my whole desktop, and there was loads of stuff on the desktop, which I didn't want everyone to see. So I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to do the whole thing again. It was probably the worst morning of my life.
But it was worth it.
Yeah, it's a great tool. So it is.
A great tool with the right hands.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else is going on social media wise? Jane, what have you picked up on this week?
Mine isn't something new, actually. It's just about Creator Studio, really, because lots of people don't really use it, and lots of people don't really understand what it does. So I was just going to talk about that, really, and just say, it's there. It allows you to publish things to Facebook and Instagram. You can schedule what you publish, you can edit your posts, you can track them, you can look at insights on them. One of the good things you can do with it if you work in a team is you can start a post, leave it in draft, and then someone else can go and edit it, finish it, do something with it. You can do it on your phone and your desktop. You can add IGTV videos to it, up to an hour. You can create a little preview clip to go in your stories from that while you're adding it there. You can schedule stories to Facebook. You can't schedule stories to Instagram yet, but they are working on it apparently. You can manage engagement through it, so you can reply to comments and things. You can, if you've had messages in there, you can look at all your messages like in your inbox, and you can add notes to people. So if you wanted to call someone back, there's a little bit down on the right, you can add call this person on this date, or put their birthday in there, you know, stuff like that. You can also share those with other people. You can add other videos, so you can add episodic video content in there. Sorry, I've got lots of notes in front of me. And the other thing is, when you upload videos, you can create different clips from them as well. So there's a bit out of this video that we like, you can just select the timestamps on there, make a little video, go straight into your videos on your Facebook page, and it appears on Watch as well, I think. So yeah, and then you can get the insights for all of that as well. So I just thought I'd talk about it really, because I think a lot of people don't understand what it does, and it's actually a really useful tool.
Yeah. So the thing with schedulers is that, from a Facebook and Instagram perspective, if you're using a scheduler that is third party, it doesn't like it. There's nothing official out there that says you're not going to get the reach if you use Hootsuite to schedule to your Facebook page, or Buffer or anything like that. But the reality is, we see it time and time again. So we know that actually we need to schedule within Facebook. So each Facebook page you can sort of schedule directly. But it is, if you use Creator Studio instead, you just seem to have, there's so much more functionality within there. And it's also, the analytics are really, really useful, especially if you're doing regular video, because it will show you things like how many people are coming back to your page to engage with your posts as well, and engage with your video as well. And that's one of those indicators at the minute within sort of the Facebook algorithm that it's now taken into account. Actually, how many returning visitors do you, like returning people do you have engaging in your content? Because it's really kind of tapping into that community thing. It's also about how much video people view of your content as well, which again is quite powerful to look at those figures. And we've looked at it, Jane, haven't we? We've seen it grow and grow and grow week by week as we've been doing, more of these. So it's definitely worth looking at. Just reminder to Jane, to get into it, it's in, I'm trying to think what the tab says. So you're in the panel, and it's publishing options, isn't it?
I think so, but it depends what version of Facebook you've got as well. So
talk about versions of Facebook. Facebook ads. How many different versions of Ads Manager are there right now? So every time I go into account, I've got a completely different layout.
Facebook is being my... Sorry, Jane.
No, I was just saying it's worse when you've got to describe to someone else what to do, and they don't have the same version. Facebook
is my bugbear. I feel like it's kind of my nemesis this week. It's being a pain.
Oh yes, because of the pages feed.
Pages feed. So I don't know if people have noticed, managing a business page, it used to be you'd be on your page, so your business page, and then down the right hand side there's a link for your pages feed, which is essentially all the pages you follow and you like as your business. You can click on that and go in and interact with them, share their content, like it, comment on it, whatever it might be, which is as important, if not more so, than the posts that you put out. So the engagement is really important. But for some reason, Facebook have just moved that, done away with it, to be honest. So between me, mediators, you guys, I think we've all been going, where the flipping heck is it? But turning the air slightly bluer. The slight workaround we found at the moment is if you just, the URL, so the website address that you put in, if after your business name, you just do the / and type news_feed, it comes up with a sort of homepage, but you have to follow everybody again. Now, there's been no news about this. They haven't put out any official statement. So normally we like to come to people, don't we, with a solution and go, well, that's gone, but that's there, and this is how you do it. But bizarrely, Facebook haven't given us any heads up. They, us being the world. So there's no official news out there, which is really, really annoying. So Facebook, sort your act out.
Didn't they do that a few years ago as well? Deleted it and then it came back. So
Yeah.
As a lot of people are commenting and kind of on the social media groups that we're part of and the social media geeks, that kind of stuff, going, where is it? What have you done with it? When's it coming back? Because what's the point as a business of following and supporting other businesses and things that you're involved in if you can't interact and support them? It seems absolutely crazy to me. So I don't know. I kept thinking it was a glitch, maybe because often they're often rolling out things and it kind of impacts other bits in the coding. But it's been since probably about this time last week, if not longer.
So they are, I don't think they're even testing it actually at the minute. I think they're just having a play with a new sort of design and layout for business pages on Facebook. And quite often when they start tinkering with stuff like that, that's when we see these glitches happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did have a workaround where I think was it pages _ feed.
But that doesn't work.
Working.
No.
So yeah, it is really, really frustrating. But it goes back to sort of, we can't rely on these social media platforms. This is why I have this issue with people that say they're experts in social media. How can we be experts in something where, it's like the rug gets pulled out from under us all the time?
Yeah.
I went to do a training session yesterday, just before, like 20 minutes before the training session, I went into Facebook ads to have a click around, and the whole how you create an advert had changed. I'd got completely different interface. And I was like, okay, I'm training someone on how to do this in 20 minutes time. Now, because I know it well enough, I know what the language is, I know what I'm looking for, and I know I've worked with Facebook in this way long enough that I can kind of almost predict what's going to happen in the way the changes are rolling out. So if I'm trying to find something on screen, but the reality is, it's so hard to be an expert in what we're doing because we're constantly having to learn new things or relearn stuff that's completely changed. It's, there's just so much is shifting all of the time.
Yeah, it's a moving feast, and and they're an enormous company. Let's face it, absolutely enormous. So some of these changes, it's a chance that people in their business might not even know about them as well. So until they put out official statements and let the news people know, we can't always solve it. So we just have to, like you say, be kind of on the ball and be able to think of some suitable workarounds. So the news _ feed after the URL is the best solution right now.
Okay, so the other thing, like I said, we can't rely on all these social media platforms to, always be functioning the way we expect them to. So have your hit list, have your, your list of clients or not clients, your list of people that will change your business. So whether it is someone you can bring on as a client, whether it's someone that you're potentially could be a referral partner for you, something like that, you need to have that list somewhere. But equally, when it comes to, what those businesses that, let's say you're a local business and you've identified there's 10 businesses nearby that are active on Facebook that you can engage in their content. Okay, if you haven't got the pages feeds at the minute, okay, it's long-winded, but if every day you just went to 2 or 3 of those pages, you can still comment under their posts. And, and it's about working to that strategy. If on a daily basis, let's assume the pages feed is working. If on a daily basis, we're just clicking there and throwing out a few likes to whatever we're seeing there, we're not actually working to our strategy. We're ticking a box in terms of something on our to-do list, but we're not working to our strategy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so true. That's so true. And it's too easy to do that. Just to go, oh, quick, I haven't done my social media today. I'm just going to put a post out, like, done. And that's, as you say, that's completely not against your strategy. You can get away with it on occasion when you're pushed for time, but you need to come back to who is it you're interacting with, what do you want to achieve by it. So yeah, wise words.
Cool. So what else has been going on social media wise? There's been lots of sort of politically charged stuff. So Donald Trump Jr. Getting banned on Twitter for sharing misinformation again. And you know, I actually haven't read the stuff in the last couple of days in terms of what's happening with is it Jeff Bezos? I've just forgotten the guy's name from Facebook.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg.
I was like,
I thought you were trying to think who the head of
my
Google
brain
was.
just turned
Yeah.
off. Like everything just went.
I know it's not really relevant, but did you see those photographs of him on the surfboard?
Yeah, with his sun cream.
He's like put so much sun cream on. It's ridiculous. Well, I mean, it's sensible. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for sun cream, but I do think we took it a bit too far.
Just basically emulsion, was it?
Honestly, I'll have to show you the picture. This is really funny.
It looks like he's got a white mask on.
Yeah, honestly, it's just, and he just looks a bit, the way he's sort of looking at the camera, it's just a bit creepy. It's really funny.
What was the other thing that I saw this week? So I shared it on LinkedIn. So anyone connected with me, go and have a look at that. Basically, it's one of the government departments, so like the Office for Communications. They actually released this guide a couple of weeks ago, and it's about how you can make your social media communications more accessible. Okay, but they've done an update on it basically. But it is everything from right for 6-year-olds. Okay, so so a 6-year-old can understand. If you're putting emojis into your social media posts, try and limit it at 2 emojis. There's lots of instruction in there about alt tagging images. Okay, so imagine someone's using like a screen reader it's kind of creating an audio for what's on the screen. When it gets to the image, it's going to read that audio description. Hashtags, no more than 2 per social media post, and it's kind of a blanket guide. It's in any social media post, only put 2 hashtags in and try and keep them at the end. We know platform to platform that advice is slightly different, but obviously they're just thinking purely from a communication accessibility perspective. But there was loads of stuff in there, absolutely, even down to the way you choose your imagery, and it's not. It's going to take 10 minutes out of your day, maybe, to read this. It's not a government report that's going to take 3 weeks to get through. But the information in there is, I don't know, it's just really nice to see some good, solid information come from a resource that is, I mean, everyone's going to have their opinions because it's a government document, but, you know, it's not from the lab Bible. You know, it's kind of it's a solid resource as well. So yeah, it was really interesting. Did any of you guys have a look at it?
I read it. Alt tags is a big thing. So as you say, so they're the things that go on images that tell you what's in the picture, which for a start, Google finds helpful. So, you know, do it from an SEO perspective, because you can, you know, put your relevant keywords in there. But you can do it on all the social platforms. You can do it on LinkedIn, you can do it on Twitter. And as you say, for people who have got a visual impairment, it just opens up a whole new world for them as well. So, you know, make sure you've got the best chance for people to see who you are and what you're about. As you said, the whole hashtag thing, that slightly contradicts the advice that we would generally give. So like LinkedIn, we often say 3 hashtags because they put them in the long tail website address. But yeah, from a readability point of view, then maybe 2 to 3 is fine. Paul has very handily just put the link in the comments to the article as well. So thank you for that, Paul. But people can just click on that and have a read of it. But it's a good article.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mark, is there on the alt tag thing, when we're looking after blogging for some of our clients, obviously we get access to their website, and we quite often come across websites where none of the images on their sites have been alt tagged. Obviously, when you're building sites, is that something you do as standard? Is that something that you, if someone's looking at their website and they're realizing that those alt tags haven't been completed, is that something that you think they should be going back and doing? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, we do it as we go through for sites and obviously blogs. But yeah, I mean, if people have got access to their own sites, they can go back through and add that information. And obviously, we've spoken about Yoast before on Live Lunch, and that will tell you again if your alt tag is relevant to the content. So there's tools out there to help that. So it might be that, perhaps I'll add something as I'm building, but then Jane might tweak that alt tag maybe when she's doing some of the Yoasting. So to make sure it all matches up. But yeah, it's one of those things that people don't always do. Probably not every website builder perhaps does it as standard, but it is definitely worth going back for clients if they've had a website built or they've used one of the online builders themselves, to make sure that they're adding that information and checking that it's relevant to each image.
Cool. So, Mark, what else has been going on in your world this week?
Well, we highlighted a slight issue on LinkedIn, which we sort of saw this morning, which just doesn't make any sense, as things with LinkedIn do. So a while back, they changed the image size for the company pages. So it's like a long, thin image now, whereas before it used to have almost like a bleed off it to allow for certain things. But now it's got a certain size. When you upload it, I can't remember what it is offhand. It's a lot 11 something by 192. It's quite a random, thin, long size. So we designed a couple of images to this new size, put them up there, and then you actually look at it on mobile. It still gets chopped off on mobile, even when it's using their recommended size. So if you're designing something, you've got to make sure that the design is actually almost centered within that area, so not using the full width. So if it's just an image that you're putting up there with no text, no logos and things, obviously that's fine. And it can, chop off things that are not within that visual area. But if you've got logos, text, or anything like that, it really has to come into that sort of central area to actually get it to work on mobile. And then the other thing we noticed when I actually was double checking it on LinkedIn, if you actually go into their recommended sizes, there's a page on it. There's the recommended size, which is this size it tells you when you upload. But then there's a minimum size that is actually bigger than the recommended size. So I'm not sure how that works, but it's still very similar in proportion. I don't think it would change the mobile element of it, but the fact that the minimum size is bigger than the recommended size does not make any sense whatsoever. So classic LinkedIn and design elements, really, as we've seen over the years with that one.
Mark, didn't you notice as well on Facebook? So if you had a video as the header, it was going sort of not pixelated, but it was a little bit blurry. It wasn't really in focus.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't tried that again since the other week.
I was going to say, I think it's working now.
Is it? Yeah.
Because I noticed it on one of the accounts.
I'll have to try that again. I think that might be because of some of the swap over on the sort of company page layout.
It was one of the header images you and I were working on, wasn't it? That was,
it just any videos uploading just weren't working.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's so important that you are, it's almost like doing a mini brand audit on yourself on a regular basis. So like, you've uploaded these images, you think they look great, you think they're fine, but actually how often do you really go back and look at your LinkedIn company page or your Facebook page or your Twitter account, your website even? You kind of just assume, I signed it off way back when, it's still working, it will be fine. But actually, even if it's just once a month or once every couple of months, just to have a quick look at everything and, is it all in line? Is it as it should be? you know, we've done it before now, where we've kind of checked a few things and then realised that, I think last time we changed headers on LinkedIn and somebody, possibly me, had not updated to the new header. I swear I did it. Don't Mark. But yeah, you know, it's funny things like that. Or there might be something new that you can now make use of that you need to make sure is the right colour. You know, and like from a branding perspective, it's, you know, sort of new functionalities roll out, and yeah, we've just got to make sure that we're staying on top of it all.
I think that's the key. A lot of people perhaps, you know, have a say a Twitter header designed in 2015, and you can still find out that it's still on there now at a totally different size and doesn't work on desktop or mobile now because the size has, you know, changed in that time. I think we've been fairly lucky lately. There was a period maybe like 5-6 years ago where sizes seemed to change almost every other month or something. So you design something and then it just didn't work. But now it has been a bit more stable. But obviously with the changeover in Facebook pages and things, which I still haven't got, so I can't see, that's going to change again. But hopefully maybe LinkedIn will catch up one day and actually come up with a size that works
for everything.
Yeah.
and know the size themselves.
Yeah. There's a whole table on it. It just
you should write to them, Mark.
Just keep looking at it, you think, am I reading that right? Is that correct? And I'll send it to Jane, because Jane will tell me if I'm being stupid. And it's like, no, that is what it says.
So maybe the same person is responsible for that department as the one who is responsible for LinkedIn groups, because they're just getting cobwebby somewhere, I think, aren't they?
Do you know, I kind of feel like they're starting to I almost feel like people are coming back to groups a little bit. Very, very early stages. But I think actually it might not be a bad time to just think about how we use those groups we might be in, even if it is to reach out to those other members, even if it's not actually being active in the groups. So especially voice notes and the videos and that kind of stuff, I think there's some potential there.
Good advice.
Well, you know.
Top tip.
That's what we learned today. Voice notes. Maybe
voice
LinkedIn
the
group.
way to go.
Yeah, voice is the future.
So at the beginning of the lockdown, I did this thing. We might have talked about it in live lunch. I don't know. There's on Netflix, there's something called The Kindness Diaries. And there's this guy. So there's this guy, Leon. I can't remember his last name now. But basically, he sort of travels the world with no money and just relies on the kindness of others. So it's like people put him up for the night, or they give him a meal, and along the way he meets people and they have inspirational stories and he rewards them in some way for their kindness. Anyway, one of the things that he sort of put out there at the beginning of lockdown was to just randomly go through your phone and just call someone and just call someone and just see how they're doing. So I did it the first week. I did it and I actually rang someone. But I have been doing it on a weekly basis and just randomly voice noting people, either on LinkedIn or through WhatsApp.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure I can be dealing with that, frankly.
I mean, clearly it's people I know, guys. Come on.
I'd be voice noting like my neighbour from like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
hi, how are you?
Friend, my contact her.
It's unexpected. It's a nice thing to do, guys.
I mean,
might be, as long as you say, isn't somebody you had they bumped into the back of your car or something.
Still in your contacts.
I'm not saying
it's creepy.
I haven't vetoed anybody. Ex-boyfriend. No, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I say, voice notes. It's such an easy way of communicating. So definitely think more people should be doing that.
We could all pledge to do a voice note out the blue, but just select who it's to.
Yeah,
I'll do that. But I'll just pick who it is.
That's not out of the blue.
It's out of the blue because I wouldn't do it otherwise.
Okay. All right.
You guys accuse me of cheating on things all the time. All the
Because you
time.
did.
So you do all our pub quizzes. It's a shocker. Let it be known, public. Don't be on a quiz team with Christina.
Well, no, be on a team with her, not against her.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure she doesn't get caught.
Yeah.
I'm really good at cheating at quizzes.
Are you?
I'm still losing.
I'm going to say,
I was gonna
didn't
You're
work
not
that well,
very
did it?
subtle.
Cool. Okie dokie. Right. Let's wrap it up there because as much as this is a live lunch thing, we all actually need to go and have some lunch. It's like an anti-lunch, isn't it? Cool. Fab. So who have we got joining us next week, Jane?
It's Charles Jones, the photographer.
Ooh, excellent. Yeah, so Charles is he's a photographer local to us. It's just a couple of miles down the road. So yeah, we'll be talking about all sorts of things there.
Top tips on getting Insta ready and marketing ready images, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, he used to do event photography. Well, say he used to. He is an event photographer, and obviously he's had to do the key thing in his business during lockdown, and I think he's done some sort of, he's come up with some innovative ideas. So we can talk about that, and he might have some photography tips for us as well in terms of taking photos for social media. So yeah, we'll have a good chat. Cool. Okay, guys, let's call it a day there. Thanks everyone for joining us, and yeah, we'll catch you next week. Bye for now.
So, yeah.
Bye.